What if eating just one meal a day could completely change how your body works inside? Most people believe the body needs constant food to keep energy, muscles, and blood sugar stable. But what if eating too often is actually stopping your body from burning its own stored fat? What if your digestive system desperately needs real rest that it simply never gets to have? For 30 days, eating only dinner forces the body into a very different biological operating mode. This is not just about losing weight, it is about insulin, fat burning, and cellular cleanup. Think of the body as a smart warehouse that receives fuel deliveries and stores energy constantly. When those deliveries stop, the warehouse turns inward, cleans itself, and starts burning old stored fuel. That simple shift is exactly what begins when dinner becomes your only meal of the day. The body still needs protein, healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals even when eating only one meal. Cutting meals does not cut what your cells still need to survive, repair, and function properly. If your only meal is junk food, the body receives calories but almost no real nutrition. That is like a supply truck arriving each day but filled entirely with empty and useless boxes. A smart one-meal-a-day dinner must include quality protein, healthy fats, and real vegetables. Without the right nutrition, fatigue, hunger, muscle loss, and poor focus will quietly begin appearing everywhere. A big fear people have is that skipping meals will make the body start eating muscle. But the body follows a very smart order when fasting begins and does not panic immediately. First, it uses stored glycogen. Then it moves toward burning fat as the next available fuel. Growth hormone also rises during fasting, protecting important muscle structures from being broken down too early. However, if protein intake stays too low for too long, muscle will slowly begin to decline. Protein is the body's maintenance crew, and without it, small damage simply goes unrepaired over time. The first few days of eating only one meal will very likely feel uncomfortable and difficult. You may feel tired, dizzy, low in energy, or even slightly nauseous during this early phase. This does not mean the approach is wrong. It simply means your body is still adapting. Before this change, the body was used to receiving fuel many times throughout the entire day. Now it must learn to draw from its own internal reserves for most of the day. Electrolytes, especially sodium, also drop during this shift and can cause headaches and dizziness quite easily. Drinking enough water and replacing lost sodium can make this early adaptation phase much more manageable. A very common belief is that eating fewer meals will cause blood sugar to become dangerously unstable. But blood sugar chaos is usually created by constant glucose spikes happening throughout the whole day. Each spike forces insulin to step in urgently, and over time this exhausting cycle never stops. When meal frequency drops and food quality improves, blood sugar naturally becomes much steadier and calmer. Insulin is the most important hormone to understand when exploring the effects of eating one meal. Every time you eat sugar or refined carbs, insulin is released to move glucose into cells. When insulin stays elevated constantly, the body keeps storing fat and finds it very hard to burn. Think of insulin as the gatekeeper standing directly in front of your body's fat storage door. When insulin finally drops, that warehouse door opens and stored fat becomes available as real fuel. Eating one meal a day gives insulin real time to fall and stay low for hours. Over time, cells begin responding to insulin better and more efficiently, which greatly improves fat burning. Another powerful change that happens during longer fasting is something called autophagy, occurring deep inside cells. Autophagy is the body's internal cleanup crew that removes damaged proteins and broken cellular waste parts. When cells go too long without cleaning, damaged waste and broken parts pile up dangerously inside. Autophagy removes that clutter, recycles still useful parts, and helps the immune system run much cleaner. It also clears out old damaged mitochondria, which are the tiny power plants inside every cell. When healthier mitochondria replace old ones, the cell's ability to produce clean energy improves significantly overall. The gut also benefits greatly when you stop eating continuously from early morning until late night. Constant eating forces the digestive system to work non-stop with no real break or recovery time. A resting gut can repair its inner lining, reduce inflammation, and allow the microbiome to rebalance. When gut inflammation drops, the entire digestive system runs smoother, lighter, and far more efficiently overall. However, one meal a day is simply not the right strategy for every single person alive. Underweight people, pregnant women, and diabetics on insulin must be especially careful before ever attempting OMAD. People who train very hard or move a lot may find one meal is never enough. OMAD is not automatically better just because it sounds harder or feels more disciplined than before. The best strategy is always the one that honestly matches your body's real and current needs. Using OMAD too rigidly for too long can slowly turn a helpful tool into biological stress. A smarter approach is mixing OMAD days with two-meal days inside a shorter eating window instead. The body learns patterns very quickly, so changing signals keeps it stimulated and responding more effectively. The real goal is never to prove how long you can endure hunger every single day. The real goal is finding an eating rhythm that gives your body its absolute best response. When used correctly, eating only dinner for 30 days can lower insulin and unlock stored fat. It supports cellular cleanup, improves gut health, and helps build real and lasting metabolic flexibility inside. If your energy feels stable, hunger feels calm, and digestion feels lighter, the strategy is working. That is the true measure of whether this approach is genuinely the right fit for you.